What's up guys, Stark here. In today's character spotlight we are taking a look at Francis Drake, who is going to be the first 5-star writer character that is going to be added into the game, and she's also a part of the Okeanos batch that is hopefully coming relatively soon with the launch of Okeanos on the 28th. So this is going to be the first of the batch of servants. I'm going to do a character spotlight for each of them in the upcoming week, and that'll lead right into the release of Okeanos, so hopefully you guys enjoy these, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight whether or not to actually pull for these characters or not. So like I said, first up here is Drake, and her pictures are on the screen for you guys to see right now, and she's got some really awesome artwork. She's a pirate, so obviously she's going to have some really cool artwork. And yeah, you know, it's really nice. She is a really good character in my opinion, and after looking at her stats and skills and stuff, I've kind of changed my tune on whether or not I will pull for her. I'm kind of leaning towards actually giving it a shot and doing at least a couple, you know, multis to see if I can get her, because she is really good and she is the first 5-star writer in the game as well. So that'll definitely help you moving forward if you need a writer class. And yeah, she's just she's overall a really good servant. So like I've been saying, she is a writer, so she will be effective against casters, but she will be weak to assassins. And she is a 5-star, so she will go up to level 90, and she will have 11,325 attack, 26 attack rather, and then she will have 12,830 HP. And then if you do go ahead and max her out, she will end up with 14,398 attack and 16,056 HP. So she has really high HP stats, pretty solid attack stats. And I know someone mentioned this in the comments about the cotton candy. Well, it's not cotton candy, but the stat boost thing is different on Japan and Global, but I'm just going with the maximum stats you can currently get overall. So that is going to be talking about the Japanese version. I imagine Global will get the update for that at some point, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys those stats. Besides, that's the stats we have on like all the information, things like that, so I'm just going to roll with that. Anyway, let's move ahead and talk about her skills. Her first skill is going to be called Voyager of the Storm A+. Now this will target all allies, and it will increase Noble Phantasm strength for 1 turn, and it will also increase attack for 1 turn. So her first skill is absolutely insane. It has a Noble Phantasm strength increase and an attack increase for all allies. Now the actual increase isn't really that high. It starts at 8.5% at level 1, goes all the way up to 17% at level 10. Now that's not a whole lot, but it is an AoE effect, and it does Noble Phantasm strength and attack, so you know you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage with this skill. So it's a really good skill to start off with. And then her second skill is going to be called the Golden Rule B skill, which will increase Noble Phantasm gain for 3 turns. Now this is a self buff, but it starts at 18%, goes all the way up to 45% at level 10, so this is really, really good. And it does last 3 turns as well, which is really nice. You're going to have very little problems getting her Noble Phantasm ready to go. And then her third and final skill is going to be called Pioneer of the Stars EX. Now this is also a self-buff skill, but it will increase Noble Phantasm gauge, apply Invincible Pierce for 3 turns, and gain critical stars. So this is another really, really good skill. At level 1, the Noble Phantasm gauge is increased by 30%, and then at level 10 it is 50%. So combo that with her second skill, and like I said before, you're gonna have no problems maxing out her Noble Phantasm gauge at any point. So it's really nice, you know. And then you gain critical stars as well, and then you also imply Invincible Pierce, which basically means you will just ignore invincibility, I believe. So this is all really, really good. She has an amazing skill set. So let's move on here and talk about her class skills. Her first one is going to be called Magic Resistance D, which will increase debuff resistance by 12.5%, and then she will have the Riding B skill, which will increase quick card effectiveness by 8%. So now let's go ahead and talk about her Ascension and her skill enhancement materials. Now I do find this a bit weird that she does not eat any of the Meteor Horseshoes, which I think is weird because she is an Okeanos servant, and the Meteor Horseshoe was introduced in Okeanos, so it would make sense that she would need the horseshoes to ascend or skill enhancement, but she doesn't, and she's also a writer, and a lot of writer characters use the horseshoes as well, so I just find it a bit weird that she doesn't need horseshoes at all. But you know, I've pretty much stopped trying to figure out like a pattern for these items, so whatever. She does need some dragon scales, dragon fangs, and demon hearts, and a few bones as well to max ascend her, which is quite a lot, but she is a 5-star servant, so that is to be expected. And then moving on here to her skill enhancement materials, she doesn't need a whole lot as far as the skills go. She does need the fangs and the bones and lanterns, but really the only thing that's going to be that tricky to get is going to be the hearts, and she does need 10 of those for the level 8 to 9 skill enhancement. But overall, it is a pretty generous item list in my opinion. So now let's go ahead and talk about her command cards and her normal phantasm. Now she does have 1 quick, 2 arts, and 2 busters, which is a little odd for rider servants, but you know, what can you do? It is really nice though, because you can throw her in pretty much any type of team. Now even though she only has 1 quick card, you know, she's really good at gaining critical stars, so you could still throw her onto a quick team. And then she does have the arts and buster you can use to throw them onto an arts or buster team as well to combo out and make chains. So it's really nice. And then her noble phantasm will be a buster card, and it will deal heavy damage to all enemies, and then you will also gain critical stars. So this is really nice. You gain 20 stars at level 1, and then you go all the way up to 40 stars at level 5. And you can do an interlude quest to power this up, and essentially it's just going to do a little bit more damage. So it's going to go from 300% to 400% at level 1, and then from 500% to 600% at level 5. So it's not a huge increase, but you know, it is a little bit more damage, and it is an AoE effect. So you know, when you can increase your AoE damage, it's always going to be very beneficial to you. And then you do gain those stars as well for the following turn to finish off any enemies that are still left alive. So now let's go ahead and talk about some of the craft essences you can use on this character. So her unique craft essence that you're going to get at level 10 Bond is going to unlock the Golden Helm craft essence, which will increase Noble Phantasm strength of all allies by 20% while on the field. Now this is a pretty generic one for Noble Phantasm strength increase, but it is pretty good because it is an AoE one. But generally speaking, you want to just buff her Noble Phantasm with other craft essences that normally do that, like Heaven's Feel for the 40% increase. You can also use like the class specific cards for whatever team you're using her in. So if you're using her in a quick team, you can use Grander for the 15% increase, or you could use Imaginary Around for the 25% increase. If you're using her in an arts team, you can use Projection for the 15% increase, or Formal Craft for the 25% increase. Or if you're using her in a buster team, you can use Verdant Sound of Destruction for the 15% increase, or Limit 0 Over for the 25% increase. So as you guys probably noticed, I didn't mention Kaleidoscope. I don't think Kaleidoscope is very good on her because her skills will increase her Noble Phantasm gauge super fast. So Kaleidoscope is definitely not needed. I guess in the early stages when your skills aren't leveled up, you could throw it on her just to get it ready quickly. But once you max out her skills, Kaleidoscope is very pointless, and it definitely doesn't make sense to use that as opposed to some of the other craft essences that can just do a much better job at helping that character be really good for your team. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this video here. I will leave you guys with her Noble Phantasm. I did manage to get a bunch of them on the Japanese version to record stuff for them. So that was really cool, but I do need a few more. So I need David, I need Hector, and I need the Medusa Lily version. So if anyone out there is watching this that has those characters, you know, feel free to drop your ID in the comments below and I will add you so I can make proper character spotlights for those 3 characters. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video here. Like I said, I will leave you guys with her Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys next time.
そう来なそうだよ